Petit Le Mans was not the only major sports car race that took place this weekend. The World Endurance Championship traveled to the land of the rising sun, Fuji Speedway in Japan, for the running of the 6 Hours of Fuji. This is one of the most popular events on the World Endurance Championship calendar, frankly because the Japanese race fans make racing a very special occasion, particularly when one of their own, Toyota, is such a crucial part and an important part and a fast part of the championship. But one of the most important things about the 6 Hours of Fuji, and something that seems to be a bit of a tradition, are the monsoon rain showers that usually take this event and usually don't make it a 6-hour race. We're going to replicate that today in Project Cars 2 with a rainy race with a chance that it will get dry by the end of this 20-lap contest. We've got the traditional 3-class structure that the World Endurance Championship utilizes. We've got LMP1H cars, we've got GTE-Pro, I guess AM cars as well if you want to be really super technical, and we've also got the LMP2 cars. Now this is what I will be participating in today. Specifically, as you can see, this Orica Lmp2. Now, this isn't completely historically accurate for the 2018 event, or the 2018 running of this event, because this is, of course, an open cockpit car, and if it was racing in today's world, it would have a halo on it. But regardless, I quite enjoy driving these open cockpit LMPs. They're kind of what my gateway drug into this whole wild world of sports car racing was, so I'd like to drive this. Again, we've got a 20-lap race, a mandatory pit stop. It'll be interesting to see if the AI wait to change to dry tires by the end of this race and whether or not I will be able to keep it on the road in the changing conditions. This should be an exciting one. So we're ready to go racing here at the 6 Hours of Fuji. We've, of course, got the LMP1H cars ahead of me, as well as the full LMP2 grid, and the GTEs are starting behind as we go racing here at the 6 Hours of Fuji on this very long and wide front straightaway, which will allow the cars to spread out quite a bit, but it might lead to a schmozzle in turn one. Let's see if everybody stays clean and green, and indeed they do for now. The LMP1 cars are a bit slow. I think I've already gotten up into the front of the LMP2 field. I don't even know how I did that because there's like 6 cars in my class, but regardless, we're going. And kind of hanging on to the back of the LMP1 field for now. We've got to be careful here on the start, especially this sweeping corner, which is very difficult to keep the front end of the car planted to the ground. You get a lot of understeer through there, and now out of the hairpin and onto the back straightaway, which isn't very straight anymore since they reconfigured this track back in the mid-2000s to bring F1 back, and then F1 promptly left, and it made everybody wonder why they changed Fuji Speedway. As I locked the brakes up there, I was trying to brake with the LMP1 cars, and that was not going to work. Can't believe I'm keeping up with the LMP1 cars right now. That's actually surprising to me as we work through the tight backside section of the course. The car's all over the place right now, getting it down into second gear, looking for the apex there. This is definitely the Mickey Mouse section of the course, no doubt about it. Of course, it is the new part of the course, relatively speaking anyway. As we head onto the main straightaway for the first time here at Fuji, taking a look back to the LMP2 leaders behind me, and if you can hear, you can just hear how much of rain noise you get with an open cockpit LMP car. You can barely hear the engine over the amount of spray of water noise or whatever coming from the race car. As I work through turn one and make my way onto the second lap. Finding the apexes, just trying to bring the car up to temperature. Trying to be very careful of the wet conditions. That was pretty decent through there that time. Oh, it was not decent into the hairpin. I locked the brakes up. Well, that wasn't good. I think I'm really going to have to build up a lead here because it seems like the AI are generally not very strong in the wet. But they certainly are in the dry conditions. So if I can build up a lead, I need to do it. So I really had to tippy-toe through that section. The chicane on the backside of the course. There is a layout of Fuji that skips that. For whatever reason, it's not included in the game. I think it's called the GT course, or at least that's what it's called in Gran Turismo. For whatever reason, it's not included here. So, working on to the main straightaway, getting a big oversteer out. Certainly sliding around a lot as I've got, I think, the Ligier, the one of those cars in the race, coming up behind me. As we work down the main straightaway here at Fuji once again. So as the race goes on, the rain is going to gradually lighten up. And that's when things are going to get real wild. As I determine when I'm going to have to come in for tires. Or for my mandatory pit stop, I should say. Because you don't necessarily have to take tires, you just have to come down into the pits. But I suspect most everybody's going to come into the pits for tires at some point. And if people make their mandatory pit stop early, that's certainly going to affect their potential to win this thing. One of the reasons I went with a mandatory pit stop in this race so that we can spread the field out a little bit more. Only got 14 AI because of the Potato Xbox One. And even then, with the changing conditions, I'm noticing a little bit of physics loss from the practice session I ran. You may notice the back end of the car coming around quite a bit. I think that is not necessarily the rain, because it wasn't doing that in the practice session. So the Potato Xbox One is struggling with this particular condition set. But sometimes we got to push the limits, so we were really pushing the limits out of the final corner. You can see the Ligier, he's coming up behind me there. But I definitely have a lot of straight line speed in this car. The base setup I'm actually using, I did tweak it a little bit as a Le Mans setup, so it's got a lot of top end in it. Which is nice for this very long front straightaway. Just eased on the power there. You do have a lot of driver aids in an LMP2 car. You've got traction control, you've got ABS, which certainly helps in conditions like this. But that's not to say you can take the conditions lightly by any stretch of the imagination, as you've seen a few times already. Just a slide on just a little bit there. The Ligier is just hanging on to the back of me. I certainly think we've got the two, the Orica and the Ligier. Well, I don't think, I know that they're easily the class of the LMP2 field in this game. As I locked the brakes up going into the hairpin, I went in a little deeper than I probably should have. I'll give that Ligier a little bit of opportunity to close in just a little bit. But yeah, the two cars that are leading this thing are definitely the cars that are the ones you'd expect to lead. The RWDs and the Merricks don't really have the pace to compete. Probably because the developers did not want the fantasy cars to outpace the real-life license models, and I don't blame them on that one. Just bringing this Nissan engined Orica up to speed. I believe the Ligier has a Honda in the back of it. So there is a little bit of variety in the engine choices of the P2 cars running in this race. Now what's going to be interesting is going to be to see if the P1 cars can catch me, and when we will catch the GTE cars as P2 cars. Because, of course, we're right in the center of the class structure in the WEC, as we've got a peeking Ligier. But not quite. I out-accelerated him down the back straightaway and out of the hairpin. So now I got to be a little bit more careful, brake a little bit more early for the chicane this time, and I still didn't quite make that apex, did I? is the part of the course I usually make up a lot of time in the AI. It doesn't seem like I'm doing it right about now. So Ligier is still just staying right on the back of me. Bring it a gear down, try to find that apex, coming out onto the straightaway and smash the throttle. Trust the traction control. Watch the headlights of the Ligier hopefully get smaller in the mirror, or the rear view, I guess you could say. You can't really see the mirrors in the current field of vision settings I have for this car, so that's why you're going to see me do that a little bit more than you otherwise would in another video. Bringing the car down to second gear, find that apex. I probably went it a little slower than I should have. I'm able to hold the Ligier at bay. That rhymed. The car's starting to feel a little bit better. It seems like maybe the physics are starting to, or at least the CPU of the core Xbox is starting to lighten out a little bit. I think just all those cars running together was kind of causing it a little bit of grief. But now that the cars are spread out and there's not quite as much stuff to render, suddenly the Xbox is feeling a little bit better. Oh yeah, I forgot I did this. So you may notice visibility is getting a little bit worse because we've got a little bit of fog rolling in. That may make things a little bit more difficult than I originally intended them to be. I'd forgotten that I set this up for fog until I saw fog rolling in, and I'm like, uh-oh. Well, this will be interesting. This will be very interesting. See just how much darker this fog makes it. This really is still the middle of the day. The time progression isn't moved up quite that much. But as you can see, just torrential, horrid conditions at the moment at Fuji. But then again, if you've ever seen a 6 Hours of Fuji, this is generally what to expect. Alright, I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident in the car. That's usually a bad sign. Missed that apex by a country mile. But as you hear, still the fastest first sector I've done at the moment. Getting some understeer through there. Find the apex of the hairpin. And then down the not so straight back straight. And into quite a soupy weather into the chicane. Not sure why there's even a chicane necessary there. I'm still trying to figure out exactly why. Usually chicanes are there to slow things down, but you would imagine that things were already pretty slow at that point on the track. And certainly all the things leading past it, or in the immediacy after it, are quite slow corners. So I don't know why there's a chicane there. I really don't understand it. Well, we're just holding the Ligier at bay, as the fog is certainly set in now. I'm starting to not even be able to see the second bridge, the Sonic Bridge, I guess you could say. And yes, Sonic the Hedgehog is on one of the bridges at Fuji Speedway. Even in this game. So that'll make Kamikaze Games very happy. Look at this. Look at this. Pea soup. As thick as pea soup, as Yukon Cornelius would say. It's never too early to start thinking about Christmas stories, right? Got some big understeer through there that time. Ooh, a little bit of a missed apex there through the hairpin. And onto the back straightaway once again. So when are we going to start seeing GT cars? That is a question that I have. Because GT cars are going to be interesting in this particular condition set, as well as the fact that we're driving, again, LMP2 cars. This is a fairly high-speed circuit with a lot of slow corners. And that's almost the exact type of track that really give P2 cars trouble against GTE cars, because GTE cars are good. They have good straight line speed compared to LMP2s, and they have good slow corner mechanical grip. It's usually the downforce kind of centric tracks that the P2 cars really can get around GTE cars with no problem. So this will be interesting, and I think in the distance, if I'm not mistaken, I do see a GTE car. We'll have to wait and see. Oh yeah, that is a GTE car, no doubt about it. So, as if on cue, we're coming up to the GTE Traffic. And what's interesting about this is I actually managed to get a Porsche in the AI cars, which is kind of spectacular, considering the percentage of a chance that you get to get a Porsche in a GTE field in this game, considering there's only 2 official liveries of the 911 RSR.
Let's take this back, Parker. Nice and clean now, no risk.
And so when you can compare that to the amount of liveries for the BMW, the Corvette, the Ford, all those other cars, getting a Porsche is like finding a lucky penny, as I really lock the brakes up down in there. And now we're coming up behind one of the Aston Martins, the Pirelli sponsored Aston Martin. I might be able to make quick work to him, yes indeed. So he might be damaged or something. He may have gotten run into by an LMP1 car, or he might have had a crash earlier in the race. So that might be an outlier GTE car being this far back in the field. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like the Ligier in second place had a little bit more trouble getting around him than I did, which is bueno for moi. And that's Spanish and French all together. We have an international broadcast here, folks. It continues to get very dark as the sun goes behind the clouds. Just apocalyptic conditions somewhat right now at Fuji. To work through the sweeper. See that sun, which appears to be setting, so we might actually accidentally get some nighttime racing in here. Oh, I may have set the time progression too high. Oh well. We already are driving an open cockpit car in the year 2018 in an FIA series, so we're already breaking all the continuity rules. Those apexes. Don't find an apex there. That was off the road just a little bit. So yeah, I think that Aston may have been a GT car that had a little bit of issues somewhere else out on the track. So we're gonna have to wait a little while to find more GT friends. Track hasn't even nearly started to dry out yet. So we'll still have to wait on that as we get out on the grass a little bit. That wouldn't be the greatest idea in the entire world there, David. That is the one thing that's a little bit annoying. The race engineer, even though you're leading your class, is like, push, push, keep going. As if to say, chase down the LMP1 cars ahead of you. To which I would say, unless you want to give this car a hybrid and a closed cockpit, and billions of dollars in development, I don't think I'll be able to catch the LMP1 cars. That was a sloppy corner set right there. I pushed out almost over the curb and then had a bad entry to the hairpin. All the way down to the first. There we go. Found that apex after looking for it for several laps. Ooh, there was a puddle. Oh, I was looking behind me, and then suddenly my car was going slightly sideways, and I was like, whoa, no. Whoa, Nelly. We found a puddle. Oh, dear. Thank God that didn't spin me out. So looking behind, nothing to worry about right now, except for the impending darkness. So I guess this is technically a little bit of Petit Le Mans as well. We're just combining the two events. That will make it a little bit more difficult to figure out when the track is dry enough for it to go to slicks. But I guess that's all part of the challenge, right? Conditions aren't bad right now. It doesn't seem to be raining quite as hard either. So we must be getting close to the time that we're going to need to come in for slicks. I wouldn't say right about now, but I will have to start checking the laps here in a few minutes to make sure that we're not running the race out without making the mandatory pit stop. Though again, the car behind me hasn't come in either, so that doesn't instill me with a false sense of whoa, no! Well, there we go. I found the puddle, and I've been passed for the lead in the class. I got caught out twice by that puddle, and that was pretty stupid. That was just a mental lapse right there, no doubt about it. As we head into the night at Fuji Speedway, so let's check. We're on lap number 12. We're still quite a few laps away from needing to come into the pit, so I'm going to take back the lead here if I can on the Ligier. The night is absolutely beginning to fall at Fuji. Darkness.
You're right on your tail. Come on, let's make it happen.
Or at least a beautiful sunset. Man, this game looks gorgeous. And again, I'm on Potato Xbox One. Imagine if I joined the PC Master Race. Alright. You remember where the puddle is this time, David, so don't hit it. Ooh, has it got a little bit of a tank slapper there. Coming up behind the Ligier. He's going to go wide. He's going to go wide. He's going to go out in that puddle. But it didn't affect him. He must have his ride height set really high.
We're expecting some wet weather any minute now.
So Ligier is coming into the pits. The leader, the race leader, at least in P2, is coming into the pits. So, his shot is shot. We're on lap 13. I'm the leader. Coming up behind some lap traffic. We don't need to come in quite yet. I think we will need to in a few laps as I push out a little bit wide there. But there's still plenty of water on the track, as I can hear. Benefits of running an open cockpit car. Now I've got to remember to order the team to put me on slicks. I'll do that on the main straightaway here this lap, since it doesn't look like I'm going to have too much competition. I do see some tail lights in the distance, but that car is far enough away. Well, no, now I'm starting to catch him. So I think that's a GT car. I think it's the Porsche. At least we'll get to see the Porsche at some point during this race. Outside of the initial formation lap. Okay, remember the puddle, David. Don't hit the puddle. We're pushing out wide. Thankfully, everything A-OK. So I think 2 laps from now, the track is going to be more or less dry. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to race strategy, adjust strategy, tire compound, go to the softs. We'll hook up for 1 liter of fuel just to do that, and we won't fix any of the damage, at least for now. So the pit stop is set. Now I can focus here for a couple laps. Just try to run some decent lap times.
Okay, you're coming up to the lap marker. Stick clean to get past stage.
Finding the apex there.
Brilliant first sector. That's your best so far.
A little bit of brakes in the middle of the sweeper. Got a couple of gears. Look for that apex. Found it. On the throttle. A little bit of curve on the exit. These rain tires are definitely starting to struggle. The track is definitely drying out, but it's not 100% dry yet. So come up behind the Porker. He gets out on the curbs just a little bit. Woo! Look at that spray. That's a big old GT car, at least compared to my car. And that was a lot of spray from the back of that car to the front of mine. Thankfully, it's all copacetic. I can actually see the puddle down there. So it's still quite wet around the track right now. Here comes a P2. Oh, this is a P1 car. The Audi. Wow. And you can just see the absolute speed of the Audi. I was like, what's a prototype doing behind me? And then I remembered. Yeah, those were the cars that I was dogging on the first lap. Whoa, Audi was in troubles in turn 1. So we'll get a bit of a run on him. Not too much of one, though, as you can see. It's not 2008 anymore. P2 cars really can't compete with the P1s anymore. And you can just see the amount of gap that Audi pulled out there. It helps to have 4-wheel drive on tap there, for sure, from that Audi. And I think I've got another P1 car coming up behind me, judging by the white headlights. Because the Porker had the yellow headlights, and I think it's the Toyota behind me.
Fastest time in sector 2 so far today. Great job.
So track conditions for sure are improving right now, because I'm able to run faster and faster with the conditions. Less wet track equals easier to drive. So let's see the Toyota come on by me. We're on lap 16 right now. Actually, no, that's a car for position. And now it no longer is a car for position, because it was coming into the pit. So that was a P2 car behind me. That was a P2 car catching up. Fascinating. So I got to be aware of that. Must be losing time on the dries. But that car is 10 seconds behind me at least right now, due to the pit stop, and that's me missing an apex because I'm starting to check race telemetry, and I don't need to be doing that right now, at least on this portion of the track. I can't remember if it's lap 16 or 17 though. I'll check on the back straightaway. I don't think I have that information on my wheel. No, I don't, so I'm going to check that. Yeah, so lap 17. Yeah, I'm still not convinced that it's time to go to dry weather tires. So yeah, I'm going to think about this. Yeah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to come into the pits this time around. And I am going to change the strategy. Go on to wet tires, brand new wets. almost missed the pits. That would have been a mistake. Ooh. And, yeah, found a puddle as well. Interesting. Okay. Pit stop time. Hopefully this is a little bit less of a shambles. As we come into the pits, get the tires ready to go. Fuel is done. That was quick, as it obviously would be. Cars flying by on the main straightaway. Hopefully this isn't losing too much time. I think those are definitely P1 cars coming by. That was an Aston Martin, the GT car.
Got an issue, just a minute. We're trying to sort it.
Oh no! Trouble! Trouble in the pit lane. I forget about this, but this can happen. Oh, that might take me out of the win. Oh. The realism is too real. The realism is too real in Project Cars 2. We had an issue in the pit stop, so now we're sitting here waiting with, what, 3 laps to go? In the middle of the night. And what did I lose in the 48 seconds? I'm all the way down to 10th overall, last in P2. Unbelievable. Oh, and we found puddles everywhere. Okay. Well, that's a thing. Well, now can I use my my pace that I had earlier to go chase everybody down up front. Kind of hard to tell what the gaps are. Whoa, 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 okay, nope, we're off the track. Well, this is just completely all not going well. It's all gone wrong. We're getting lapped again by the P1 leaders. Well, maybe I should have gone to dry. Something definitely does not feel right. Car feels very twitchy right now. Could be cold tires. Could be the physics bugging, though I suspect that's not the case. Might just be wet tires on a dry track. I'm just not sure. After leading and dominating the race, I've set my best sector 2 time, so I guess maybe I did make the right tire choice, at least for now. Oh, way off the track. Where's that puddle? I'm going to miss that, which I did. Well, how many laps to go? We got 2 laps to go. And it looks like 40 seconds to make up. That's an awfully long time to wait. There goes the Porsche by, the 919. Oh, and that's the race over. Never mind, I forgot I'm not on the lead lap because I'm a B2 car. I was setting up to go fast, and I'm like, wait a second, the race is over. I forget. Not the top class this time, but that was a lot of fun. It's a shame that I kind of got screwed out of a win there. But I guess mechanical failures happen. So Toyota did not manage to get the overall win. They actually are 3rd behind the Fuji spec Audi R18 and the Porsche 919 hybrid. The Ligier managed to take the win in LMP2 over the Merricks. All 3 of the Merricks, in fact. I don't think there's a single RWD in the race. And then my Orica getting lapped right at the end. Aston Martin takes a 1-2 in GT, BMW 2-3, and the Porsche last place overall. So that was a simulation of the World Endurance Championship at Fuji. If you did enjoy this, be sure to let me know down in the comments. Subscribe for more Project Cars 2, motorsport, and sports car racing content. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.